Das war neue Musik. Von Barclay James Harvest, vor über 40 Jahren eine meiner ersten Lieblingsbands. Ob Him, ob All Right Down Get Boogie, ob Mockingbird, Child of the Universe. Und heute darf ich mit einem meiner frühen Musikhelden sprechen. Denn zugeschaltet ist mir John Lees. Hallihallo.
Hello.
Relativity is the name of the new album. How do you approach songs in 2025 when you have so many timeless classics on the platinum list?
I approach it. It's a new band. It's John Lee's Barclay James Harvest, but it's a collaboration of all the musicians in the band. We all write like the original Barclay James Harvest did, as a partnership. That's how we started the whole thing. Back in the day, back 26 years ago, I think, when it became John Lee's Barclay James Harvest. The album we started making 7 years ago, and all through COVID and personal issues, we've cracked on, and that's how we do it.
Well, COVID is, for a lot of musicians, the start of doing new songs, because touring has to stop in that years.
We actually started recording the album. It just for us, it made it a bit more difficult to continuously record, and issues just meant it got fragmented. And,
okay.
But eventually, we battled through, and 7 years down the line, we got a concept album.
Is it harder to write songs because you've already had so many hits, or is it easier because you have a lot of more experience?
The experience comes in, and obviously you're working with 3 other people who have their ideas, and it's a melt of all of that together, a learning curve, So it's always fresh. North was the same. We all contribute different ideas, different musical styles, and that's what Barclays was about in the first place.
Yes.
Partnership of writers. 4 heads are better than one.
A new band feeling,
yeah.
In other words.
Yeah.
Your voice sounds almost the same as it did before, that mix of delicate yet powerful when it's important for the song. At 78, not many sound the same anymore. Billy Joel transposes 2 notes lower, I've read.
Oh, I don't know. Just look. No, I had a good singing coach about 10 years ago. I don't know.
Okay. What it's like composing today with the technical tools that weren't available for Gone to Earth, for example. Is it the same or different working?
It's totally different. It's absolutely totally different. The technology is frightening, really, what you can do. It's difficult not to get drawn into absolutely everything that's available. One part of the process that we've kept the same, all of the recordings we've done, is at some stage part of it is analog. And it seems to make a difference for us.
Getting the right sound. When I remember your song, John Lennon's Guitar, is one of my favorite songs, which shows, and many people told me this, whether Klaus Voormann or Manfred Mann, experimenting with the sound, because you were in the Abbey Road studios. There were all kinds of instruments that you used, like John Lennon's guitar. Isn't that a source of inspiration today too?
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. You can get inspiration in lots of different places. I mean, that song, and at the time I remember thinking, what's the positives? And then I suddenly thought, yeah, when you were at Abbey Road as a kid, you needed a guitar, and then producer Norman Smith said, oh, we'll use this one, and it was John Lennon's, Epiphone Casino. So I wrote a song about it.
And trying sounds with trying instruments?
Yeah. And of course the palette with digital is immense.
Okay, you have the samples now, but you have to know how it sounds. A trombone, a guitar.
Yeah. Not so much samples as riffs, really. Yeah. Guitar sounds and bass sounds and chord structure.
Hello, Christian.
Hi.
I'm Craig. I'm John's bass player and vocalist. And I've been with them 27 years or so now. When we record, we do try and keep things We don't use any, when we do the vocals, we don't use any auto-tune. We actually sing them till we get things right. So we try and keep things, and John, it's all real acoustic guitars, real electric guitars. So we try and keep things as faithful as possible. The keyboards are different, of course, because it's, we haven't got a real piano. We do use the real mellotron still, which is Woolly's old mellotron from the original band. So we try and keep things very faithful sound-wise and not use as many samples as we can.
And we always play the track live.
Yeah, and they're live beds as well.
It's live beds. The drums go down, the bass and the guitar and the keyboard. There's always a bed of that, so the song is played through.
So it's a live start. We play the song as we would at a concert, and then we begin to add things on top of that.
Yes, to keep the band feeling alive while recording.
So it's an old-fashioned way of doing it, but we like doing that. It works for us, and we think it gives it a nicer vibe, a nicer feel to the song.
Yeah.
We talked about John Lennon's guitar. Almost everyone is influenced by the Beatles, and most of them are fans like you. It's funny, I have to tell you, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was maybe 13 or 14 years old, sitting in my friend Peter's room, and two of his records electrified me. That was different from Boney M or Smokey before. It was Gone to Earth and the Red Album. After that, listening to music was different for me. So, do you know that your songs, when they're out, they create other stories and you can't hold them? They have their own life.
I think it's magic. I always have done, and I think it's the beauty of being a writer is that you can suggest things that people see in a totally different light, and you mean one thing and it means a totally different thing to somebody else. I think it's always been if it's four people creating together, then you get this meld of feelings and emotions, and if you can inspire other people, or if you can influence other people by that in a good way, I think it's great. It's always been a source of real magic to me. That
the magic of music.
Yeah. There was this quote online relating to the new album. Somebody put a comment on and it was that your music has been the backdrop to the last 50 years of my life.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible to think that, your music has had that effect on somebody. That's great.
The sounds and the song's length are still as cool today as they were back then. With a 7-minute song, you can't be looking for radio play, but you don't have that anyway.
In fairness, the songs decide themselves how long they'll be. It's either lyrically the development of the story or the line in the song, or musically the development of the arrangement. We're not trying to make every song a single. We're not trying to make any song singles. They live themselves, So if they're 7 minutes to 9 minutes, as it happens, a lot of the songs on this album develop over a long period, so they're longer songs.
I have to ask a little about my first favorite record. I told you that what was the idea behind writing Pullman's Moody Blues as a response to Nights in White Setting, then my number one lovesick song in that time. Different song, but same format.
I met the guy that had recorded the Poor Man's Moody Blues, and he was very apologetic. He'd been given a bunch of albums on a Friday night as he was leaving, to review by the editor, and he didn't even listen to it. He just dismissed it because he'd seen a comment said, "Oh, it's just Poor Man's Moody Blues." So I thought, well, if he can be that throwaway about it, I'll if they want Poor Man's Moody Blues, I'll write a Poor Man's Moody Blues. And for the life of me, why I did it, I just did it as an exercise. It's nothing like really, but it's the same empathy, and. I think the Moody's call themselves the rich man's Barclay James Harvest.
Yeah. I just listened to the Concert for the People again, and I have to say the sound is still top-notch. There's a new live album by The Who now, which was recorded 10 years earlier. Okay, but you have to make some compromises for your today's ears. Why Concert for the People is timeless?
I have no idea. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea. I mean, I was terrified doing the concert, so we probably everybody on the stage was like that. So they were on their A game, in terms of making sure that everything was okay. I don't know why. The whole thing had a surreal feeling about it, to be there in front of the Reichstag and 100,000 odd people, just mega.
Perhaps you feel the right feeling on that day. It was very special.
Yeah,
well,
maybe the feeling comes through on the actual analog tape. It might be the ghost in the machine.
Yes, and in Germany, I can't remember a concert that didn't charge admission before.
Yeah. I mean, I think they wanted to do a similar in East Berlin. There was some, but they
Yes, a few years later.
We did it a few years later, but I think back to back they wanted initially, but I think they wanted to charge for tickets, which was not it was a thank you concert,
Prog rock, soft rock. For my AC/DC friends, Barclay James Harvest wasn't anything, but things weren't always smooth. As a hobby drummer in that times, I always admired Mel Pritchard. I also wanted to have rototoms, but they were too expensive. You were a cool rock band, but had that soft image. Why?
When we very first started to write music, it was more folk inclined than it was rock inclined. So we'd always I think they called it soft rock, We'd always that whimsical side to us, and recorder and a bit of tenor and a bit of cello, a bit of violin,
To use more acoustic instruments than other rock bands did.
More orchestral, yeah.
And it made it more colorful, and you had more varieties in the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shortly before the turn of the millennium, the Barclay James Harvest, as I knew as a fan, collapsed. And of course, it was sad that there were two bands after all. On the other hand, I don't know how many drifters there are in America. A band only works if everyone enjoys the repertoire, because it's music and you do not build a car. The magic of music doesn't come automatically. Was that the reason?
Yeah, I think we just went in different directions, really, musically. I think that was fairly obvious if you listen to that period in time. We're working independently in the studio, and it was just a natural conclusion.
And the fans were older in their days and had breakups themselves. They understood this?
I'm not sure. I think we knew that Barclay James Harvest was the name, and that the actual members of the group weren't as strong as the actual name itself. And our then manager at the time, David Walker, came up with this idea that initially just to take a break from one another, and that if individuals wanted to continue and do something, then we would do it through the title of a name, through the eyes of, like Barclay James Harvest, and it would be Barclay James Harvest through the eyes of John Lees, Barclay James Harvest through the eyes of Les Alroyd, Barclay James Harvest through the eyes of Mel Pritchard. So if anybody wanted to do something, in that break period, they could do it under those auspices. I think Les did it, Barclay James Harvest featuring Les Alroyd. So that kind of disturbed everything. So what happened? What eventually happened was it became apparent that it was never going to get back together again.
Yes. What stays is the music, and now Relativity today. How does it feel to have such a long career? Does working on new things keep the artist young?
Don't feel like it. Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. If you'd have told me, 50 years ago that I'd still be here doing this, I would have, wouldn't have believed it. So I'm still incredulous.
Okay.
But it's I think it's a big achievement when I think about it, really. I'm not good at looking at the positives. I'm always looking at the negatives. But if I was looking at the positives, I think, well done.
Yes, sure. There's a painting from Saarland that you own, the Saarschleife by Alfons Kiefer.
Yeah.
Does this still hang in your living room?
Yes, it does.
how this picture came to you.
We have an agent, Kurz, Roland, and as well as being an agent for us and booking good gigs for us, he's a great friend, him and Sabine, and they gave me that as a present, because we, on a day off, we visited this site on the Sau River, and they took us to a beautiful spot, viewing spot, and then gave me that painting, which is absolutely fabulous.
And that's full circle. It's from Alfons Kiefer, and the artist who collaborated with Klaus Voormann for the anthology cover for the Beatles.
Yeah.
So
I have a book on him, and it shows the anthology and some other things, the magazine covers and everything. Yeah, very talented man.
John Lees, thank you. All the best. Relativity, the new Barclay James Harvest album, is out on October the 17th. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I hope you enjoy it when it comes out.